All right, welcome, fellow humans. We got a nice treat for you today. We got a young girl coming to us who is a patient in one of our offices with Dr. Zach. And Dr. Zach reached out and said, you got to have this girl share her story. So, and like her name is Luzzi. And as we were just discussing is, thousands of people are going to listen to this and her story could impact your lives. So let's welcome Dylan. How are you, kiddo?
I'm good. Good morning, Steve. It's so nice to be here. I'm so happy to be on this podcast with you.
You seem a little nervous. Have you ever done anything like this before?
Never. I'm definitely a little nervous.
That's fun. That's cute. How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're a baby.
Yep.
Life is just getting rolling, girl. So where are you at in life? Are you working, graduated college? What's your story?
So I'm currently in college. I'm doing an online study program for a veterinary technician.
Nice.
Um, and then I'm working. I work at Boot Barn in Manchester, Connecticut. I do sales there. And then I've had a couple interviews for some work from home jobs that I'm waiting to hear back from. So fingers crossed.
That a girl. That a girl. And we found each other through Dr. Zach.
Yes.
He's a great kid. He worked with me for many years and now he runs our Manchester office. And it's what a great space he's created there, isn't it?
It is. It's very like homey and welcoming, and he's such a great doctor. He's done wonders for my back. He's been working with me since my first surgery from my car accident. So he's really gotten to know me, and we're making a lot of progress.
It sounds like it. Him and I, we were talking this morning and he loves your story. He loves your story and the impact that chiropractic has had on your life. So what brought you into Dr. Zach? How did you find out about him first off? And then what brought you in there?
So my mom knew a couple ladies that were working with Dr. Zach. She owns a pottery studio, Little Bird Clay Company on Bissell Street. And so some of her clients go to Dr. Zach and was like, oh, we're telling her, oh, you should mention to Dylan, she should go and see Dr. Zach. He's amazing. And so I waited a couple months. I was like, I don't know about chiropractic and the snap, crackle, popping and all that. I just don't know. And so one day I woke up and I gave it a try, and it was really my first day I cried. It was really emotional for me. I had just moved to Manchester, and I had just gotten out of a toxic relationship, and I was just starting the healing process from my car accident. So I was really emotionally broken. I was vulnerable. I didn't really know what the next move was, but I was like, I know that if I start this healing process by taking care of myself and prioritizing myself and staying positive, that my healing process should go pretty smooth. It's healing, right? So it's not totally smooth. There's ups and downs. You fall down, that's life. You fall, you crash and burn, but you get back up again. You get back on that horse and you ride it until your last day on earth. That's how I feel, at least nowadays.
That's powerful. That's a powerful statement. So it sounds like you're on an incredible journey right now. So let's rewind a little bit. And you were talking about how when your mom was talking to you about going in, you were nervous, about the snap, crackle, and pop. Now, did you ever go to a chiropractor before, or were you just seeing things on TikTok that put that perception in your mind?
So I had never seen any TikTok videos of chiropractic work. I do know, not this isn't chiropractic work, but I know some of my friends that are bodybuilders, they do cupping and massage therapy, and I think one of them did chiropractic for a little bit, but I had read and heard from bodybuilders' perspectives the impact and the results that chiropractic has had on their bodies. And then once I went to Dr. Zach, I actually learned how healing it is from trauma and car accidents, and I had no idea. And it's like a whole light bulb went off, and like I was open to a whole new world, and my life kind of started to change from the very first minute. I just started to feel more positive and not so outside of myself anymore. I started to feel more of a connection in my body, and which is still a work in progress. I don't feel totally connected as I'd like to be, but I am 80% more connected, I would say, than before that first day I walked into Dr. Zach.
So what would you say was one of the most impactful things that Dr. Zach shared within that first visit or two?
When he did the X-ray scan and my spine, and then how certain, I guess, certain positions or certain I forget what the word is, alignments,
Yep.
can trigger different things in the body, and it can even go back stating like to your childhood and where trauma first started there, and then all the way up into your life up until now, how the body just holds space, holds on to that for so long, and we don't even realize it sometimes, the impact that it has on our bodies. And then so that first day after the first alignment was just a total emotional release. I was crying hysterically. You know, I've never really done that in front of people I don't know before, so it made me feel more vulnerable, and light bulbs went off, and I was just so aware for the first time how broken I was, and that was like the best thing I could have learned in my life so far.
You know, it's great that you could share this. You know, now I could see why Dr. Zach felt such a need for you to share this, because you know, you used the statement, you felt like you were outside of yourself. And I hear that a lot from these 20 somethings that come into the office. There seems to be a big, almost emotional, spiritual disconnect from within. And they use that term outside. I feel like I'm outside of myself. Where does that come from? Like, where are you guys picking that up from?
I don't know. I feel like for me, it's comes from looking for answers, and looking for people, places, and things, and looking for that next thing that's gonna be like, oh yeah, now I got it. Now that gives me the what's the word? Um the the approval that I can go and do this now, or I can go and be with this person, or this person is definitely my friend, or stuff like that. I don't know. I especially from, we're such a consumer type of world, and everybody wants these things in life, and you know, these grandiose things, and I feel like in the 20s it's like, oh, you know, we're trying to figure our whole lives out. It's like, okay, now I have to crack down and get this job and have this car and move into here and be with this person and create this life. And it's like, all we have to do is just look inside ourselves, and we'll find happiness, we'll find peace, we'll find clarity. It doesn't have to be so messy. And just, if you want to look at something, look inside, not outside.
But what is inside that you believe is more powerful than what's outside? Have you discovered that?
For me, sorry for the background noise. I For me, it all comes from the heart. The more open your heart space is, the more you can let good things come in, and more positivity go out and in. And
Right, right. What do you do to get connected to your heart space and to get quiet? Have you found that?
I'm still working on that. I noticed that, well, I've learned that the more uncomfortable I can allow myself to be, the more confirmation I get that I'm doing the right thing, and I'm on the right path, and I'm meeting the right people. And because we're not supposed to be comfortable all the time, I believe. We're
Right.
comfortable. We're comfortable because of something, and that something may not be good for us, and it could be something that we just don't want to let go of yet. And letting go is the hardest part into opening your heart space, but the more that we can let go, the more our heart can be open.
Right. And a lot of times it's what are we really letting go of?
Right.
Because now we're holding on to something. What are we really holding on to? And what's the point of holding on to it if it's going to make us unhappy and steal our peace and love?
Right. We have to really look at that and analyze it for a minute and be like, is this good for me? Is this going to help me move towards my future? Is this going to help me in the long run?
So when you look at, excuse me, healing and peace, and the heart is such an incredible thing to think about. Think about what your heart does and how a heart could be such a peaceful, beautiful thing, but it could also be such a damaging thing. But have you ever sat and thought about, like, where did my heart come from? Like, you didn't earn it, you didn't make it, you didn't go buy it off a shelf. You woke up someday, 25 years old, and said, I've got a heart that I want to find peace with. But where did that heart come from? Like, what is that essence of it?
Whew, that's a good question, Steve. um, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
What's your birthday?
May 24th, 1998.
Happy birthday. You got a birthday coming up.
I do. Thank you.
So it's amazing to think, we'll call it 9 months before that day, two beautiful people's souls found each other. You call them mom and dad. Um, Regardless of how you feel about them right now and emotionally what you've been, I don't know what your relationship is, but they had a beautiful moment that started the creation of you, who you are. The journey you're on right now is creating who you could be, or maybe who you were predestined to be, that maybe life was getting in the way of. But these emotions and this shell that's cracking open is potentially launching you into a whole beautiful life that you're now discovering because you're getting clear. You were able to get your atlas cleared out. You're getting your nerves from within to open up. But that beautiful experience of, in 9 months, a heart with chambers and lobes and emotion got developed in your mom's belly. How amazing is that?
I know.
And how does that happen? How does that happen? What makes that possible?
Two people coming together, I think, and
They came
choosing to
together.
create life.
Yeah, but let's say they got drunk and they went home and made love for 20 minutes. Maybe it was an unconscious choice. Or maybe they sat out at a beautiful candlelight dinner and said, I want to create life with you, and made love for 20 minutes. But in 9 months, they did nothing else. They went on with their life. They worked. Your mom's belly grew, and you developed from two cells that became trillions of cells that they chose to call Dylan. Dylan, right? They named you. And then the beautiful experience, maybe your mom went into labor for hours and pushed and pushed and pushed, and this little baby came out that was built inside your mom's belly in 9 months. Think about that. Think about your eyes, your hair, your blood. It was all built inside your mother. Your father had nothing to do with that after that night. Your mother never really did either. She just kind of went along for the ride, and her body internally took over and built you. That intelligence is amazing. That's the same intelligence that's inside of you right now, that's helping you see me, that's helping you breathe the air, that helped you hear that siren, that's digesting your breakfast, right? I'm assuming you lift weights, that when you pump weights, it builds that muscle, breaks it down. It's also what's helping you heal right now. When Zach went in and adjusted you and you had that release, you got reconnected at that moment to life. Part of the journey is really analyzing and trying to understand what that life is. Because when we feel disconnected because we're looking for happiness and understanding outside of ourselves. We're looking to be connected by outside sources instead of the most beautiful source in the world, which is inside of you.
Exactly. It's almost like we're dissociated for however long of our lives, totally unaware of the beauty of life until, I don't know, until something happens traumatic in our lives, until we go through a change in our lives, something happens to our lives that flips the switch in us, I guess. That's like, oh, now I'm awake and aware of how beautiful and sacred life is up until this point. It's like, and then we all say, we're like, well, we don't just wake up one day and everything's fine. No, but we do wake up one day and realize the severity of our lives.
Right. And you wake up one day and say, how do I want to manifest my life moving forward?
Right.
Right. Where am I going to put my faith in this life that's going to carry me through all the stressors and all the things that are going to come at us? Where does our true faith come from in
Where
life?
do I want to direct my energy to? What do I want to have in my life? And
Exactly. So I know you were in a major accident, which I think you're alluding to when you're talking about the coming through the stress, et cetera. Do you want to talk about that accident? Because ultimately, I think that's a big part of what led you to Zach, correct?
it is. Yep. It's pretty much the only thing that led me to Zach. Um, so December 18th, 2021, I was in a near fatal car accident. I was driving to work one morning and I had a road rager come up behind me in a big black truck and started shoving me off into different lanes, swearing at me, yelling at me. Eventually, he cut in front of me, put his brake lights on, and I slipped on a patch of black ice and cut the wheel to avoid hitting him. And I went up over the median, flipped and rolled my car 4 times before I hit the ground, and then I was unconscious for 5 minutes and woke up on the operating table at the hospital. They were discussing if they were going to amputate my arm or not. I heard the doctor walk in the back of my head, mind you. I'm pumped full of drugs. I don't know what's going on. I can't feel my arm. Um, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my God, just amputate my arm. I'm in so much pain. I don't even care. I'll rock it. I'll rock the one arm. Just this pain has got to stop. And he comes back in and he's like, I found a way. I found a way we can put her arm back together. So they put my left arm back together. I broke it right from the shoulder all the way down to my wrist. That was my first surgery that day. And then I just finished healing as of yesterday from an autograft surgery where they took bone from my hip and put it in my wrist. And my wrist is now doing phenomenal. There's bone growing back. I feel like $1,000,000, to be honest. So that was the accident. And at the time of the accident, I was in a very abusive relationship. So when I saw the light in my car accident, my first thought was, wow, this is what peace and freedom feels like. I don't feel a thing. There's this beautiful light. It's white, it's crystalline, it's clear. My mind is finally quiet. I can just like sit and be for a minute and just, that's it. There's no pain, there's no good, bad, otherwise. It's all just here and it's quiet and it's peaceful. And so the relationship I was in made me wish at the time that I did follow that light, but now I am so grateful just to have that experience, because I live by the motto, don't give up and love your life. You know, I put my life and myself first always, and you have to. Not in a selfish way, not in a mean way, not in a bad way, not in any kind of way. Just when you learn how to do that, this car accident taught me how to do that. Because for such a long time up until that day, I thought that I didn't want to be alive anymore. And I was very depressed my whole life. I was very angry. I was very sad. I was very depressed. I didn't really have any friends. I hung out with really, really bad people that led me down dark paths. I've had all kinds of experiences, not just the car accident, but the car accident was the most traumatic thing I've ever been through. Um, and I love my life now. I love the little things. I love, my little apartment, my cat. I love that I'm alive. I love that I still have my arm and I can still lift weights and take part in my life. And I'm excited for what my life is going to bring to me. I have a lovely relationship. I not going to continue tooting my own horn, but like when you don't give up and you choose love in your heart space, that's when you can really start living and things just come to you. Like, you just don't give up. Don't look for answers. Don't look for the next best thing because it probably won't come. Just choose happiness and choose to love yourself in your life and everything else comes together.
Mm. It's that accident, probably one of the biggest blessings in your life. As scary as a moment as it was, but like you said, it brought you to the light.
I did.
So I think the biggest part of your journey right now is understanding what that light is.
Yes.
Because it's not gone. You see, in my young world growing up, all my, tough times, etc., I found that light was the love and peace of God. And our society has taken God out of the story, especially your age group. And that's created a lot of hurt and pain and disconnect.
Mm.
And as a young woman, when you could wake up and allow God into your heart and just discover that, that to me is the ultimate love. There was a point in my life where I didn't know what love was. And I started studying love. And one day in a meditation, it just came to me, life's only vital expression, right? Life is all energy. The greatest energy is love. And to me, the greatest love energy comes through God and my relationship with him and having faith and really understanding what that means. And sometimes that gets stolen from us by the people around us in life because they're human.
Does it though? Does it really get stolen? Because stolen is such a harsh, intense word. It's like hate. It's because what I believe is I don't nobody has the power to steal love away from you because
Right.
you have it in yourself. That'd be like if somebody stole you and who you are from you. It's impossible. I
What
can't
about
steal Steve from Steve. You can't steal Dylan from Dylan. I might lose a small part of myself, whatever that is,
yeah.
but
You
I
also
won't totally lose myself because I'm standing right here. My heart's inside. And
would you agree that there was a part of you lost before that accident?
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's almost like a part of your soul was stolen from you from a moment because something could be stolen, but you could find it again.
You can, and you can make it better. And, you can. So I guess one would say, oh, she totally lost herself in that accident. I didn't lose myself. If anything, I gave up the bad and replaced it with the good. And I took the bad, whatever it was that I lost, I looked at it through a lens and I was like, okay, I made these mistakes. This is what went wrong. How can I change that to make it better? One of my favorite quotes. I used to be in AA for 6 months, Alcoholics Anonymous, and we always used to say the Serenity Prayer. Of course I forget it now, but it's about accepting the things we cannot change and having the courage to change the things we can. You
Right.
know, that is huge. I use that in almost every part of my life. And I'll tell my boyfriend that too. You know, he was really worried about switching a job and what some people would think and how his higher up manager would treat him. And I said, look, you know, you got to trust the process,
Mhm.
accept the things that you can't change. You can't change what those people might say or do or what however they may react. But you can focus on what you can change. You know, it's huge because it's accepting those really hard things we don't want to accept, you know. I It's not that I was in denial my first couple months from my car accident, but I just couldn't accept that. I was angry. The dude drove me off the road and he got away. He
Yeah,
never got caught, you
right.
know, and I was angry at my ex-boyfriend because of the way he made me feel. You know, I just couldn't fathom the fact that he genuinely didn't care if I continued to follow the light or not. You
Right.
know, he just was so wrapped up in his own world, he couldn't focus on another human being. And I couldn't even focus on myself at that point. So I was like, well, it is what it is. This is how I feel. This is, you know, but I slowly started to change and I my journey I'll talk about AA and being in recovery for a minute. August 13th, 2021 or 2022, that's when I found AA. I looked to drinking in the bottle for right after my car accident hardcore. I couldn't, you know, it suppressed the anger, it suppressed the depression. Ironically, it made me more depressed, but I had so many feelings going on. And it wasn't just the car accident. It got to a point where it just wasn't the car accident. It was all the trauma that I've been through. It was everything that I've been through. You know, the car accident was like a movie. I saw every piece of my life, everything that I've been through, good and bad, like a movie. It just flashed before my eyes. And you know, I that's when I realized my healing process wasn't just this car accident. It's now I'm healing and I'm going back to heal the inner child in myself that was hurt for so long from the day that I was born to find what I was meant to do in life that was born with me in my small little tiny heart at that point, being 1 day old. Now I'm on this journey to find what that is, and I have to clear all of this out first before I get to that point, before I can even see a little glimpse of what that is. And so I found AA. I was drinking every day, binge drinking, making really bad choices. Um, and I didn't tell my parents about it at first. I kind of just did AA on my own. I didn't talk to my parents for a while because AA brought up things that I couldn't accept about my parents and who they are as people first. And then later on down the road, here comes 5 months, here comes 6 months, and I'm happier. I'm lighter. I lost some weight. I am stronger in the gym. I can look my parents in the eyes for the people that they are and accept them for who they are, no matter what happened when I was born, no matter what happened after I was born, before I was born, those people, because those aren't the people that they are today. And I'm not who I was then, back then, today. So, you know, I accepted the things I couldn't change about them and I focused on the changes that I can make. And yeah, maybe they've changed. Maybe the things around me have changed. Maybe they didn't. And if they didn't, I know that I can look at myself and be like, look, I went through AA. I got myself healthier. I chose to make that decision instead of making bad decisions. I chose to keep trucking along on my path to be a happier, better person because I knew that my car accident was a one-way ticket out of life easily. In the blink of an eye, easily, I could be gone. but I choose to sit in this chair and be on this podcast with you, Steve, and I choose to be that better person every single day for myself, for my relationship, for my parents, for life, for love, for myself, you know.
You're amazing. Like, you should be super proud of yourself, what you're doing. I mean, I know you think 25, you feel like you're older, but
Yeah, some days I feel like I'm 75.
someday you'll be 75 and you'll be like, wow, 25 was, I miss it. But the journey you've begun here, because it's a beginning for you. And I'm here for you any way that I could help you. But you're nothing happens by chance. Like, every step of the way is taking you. You'll wake up and be 30 someday. And I've always said, just do it, live, because you're going to wake up and be 30 and you want to say, I did it, not I should have done it. Right.
Mm.
One of my best friends, Dr. Peter, always says, if you want to get to where you want to go, you have to let go of where you are.
Mm.
And that's what you've done with, you've let things go, and you've made very profound steps, a lot of it on your own, right? Which I don't believe you're truly alone. Like, your spirit's been guiding you with the steps that you've taken to put yourself in AA, to realize, I can't continue this. That's powerful. Like, you'll wake up someday and have kids and realize what the heck you've done and what has helped you heal and brought you through this. That is absolutely amazing. So you need to be super proud of yourself and realize how powerful you are, because now you're not outside yourself anymore. You're within yourself. You're healing from within. You're relying on the voice within and the healing powers from within to guide you right now, which is massive, 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 massive. And just, be grateful for that. As you look at your arm and you're grateful that it's there, realize that the doctor did an amazing surgery, but your body healed it. And that intelligence will guide you through the entire rest of your life, as long as you stay conscious of it. And that's what we talk about when humans wake up and they get connected to that intelligence within, that spirit within, and they start listening to that. Life becomes absolutely incredible, because the answers all come to you and these doors open up and the path just gets wider and more beautiful and more light. And that's where you are, girl. Just keep heading towards that, and just surround yourself with amazing people that if you have a tough day, you can reach on them. It's like, that's why AA is so beautiful, is because it's a text away, a phone call away, to just keep you on the path. And that goes for so many areas of your life.
It is. And, I'm not in AA anymore. I chose to take the tools and the things that I needed at that time in my life with me to carry on. I'll have a drink on the weekend here and there, but I'm not that same person that I was in AA going into AA anymore. Some people might be like, oh, you should go back to AA or this or that. It's like, at the end of the day, you know yourself the best. I know myself the best. And I just felt like, hey, I did what I had to do for myself at that time. And I've learned so many great tools of how I cannot make that same mistake again. And you have to ask yourself, do you trust yourself enough to not make that mistake again? Do you trust yourself to not spend money, loads and loads of money on alcohol? Do you trust yourself not to binge drink, not to do these things that you've done? Yeah, I absolutely trust myself, because I don't just trust myself with that. I trust myself in general with every decision that I make, every word that I speak, every move that I make. I trust myself, because at the end of the day, you are technically all you have. You'll always get to have yourself. So why not start by trusting yourself? Start by loving yourself, Don't look for the person sitting next to you to give you the answer. It's like, or, wait for their approval, which is something I'm still learning. It's really hard to do, but I'm still learning it and I'm making progress. It's allows me to live a happier life, not looking for that anymore. And I think being in the 20s, I'm going off topic for a minute, but being in your 20s and looking for approval and answers is, excuse me, so huge. I feel like we all do it, and that's what keeps us going around and around in a circle and losing ourselves and feeling like we're crazy, being like, oh, why don't I have all these friends? Why don't I have this? Why I should be here. I should be doing this. You know, it's like, it's just stop looking. It's hard, but just stop looking and accept yourself for who you are. Love yourself for who you are. You know, I love my foot-long scars on my arm. I look at those and I'm like, those are badass, and those are going to tell a story one day. And here I am sharing that story.
And that's amazing. And I'm thinking about the 20-year-old little girl listening to this right now, who could have been you 4 years ago, saying, well, you tell me to stop looking. So where is it? Where do I look? Like, what do I do then? What do you tell them?
Look in the mirror and look inside yourself. Look into your heart. Look into your, what do you truly want out of life? What truly makes you happy? You know, take care of yourself. You know, take care of yourself. Make your bed every morning. Make yourself a cup of coffee every morning if you're a coffee drinker out there. Or, you know, pour yourself a glass of orange juice. Make yourself breakfast. You know, love those little things that we miss out on when we're out doing silly things or when we're out doing stuff. And those things help shape and create the rest of your life and who you are as a person and the way that you treat yourself.
Girl, you're awesome. Like, you got me a little choked up. You know, I got 5 kids and I'm hearing your story and I'm super proud of you, but you know, you don't need me to be proud of you. You should just be proud of yourself. That's what matters most. And you made a profound statement in there when you said, you know, you don't need people out there to give you the answers. But I truly believe it's nice if people could create suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
Part of your journey now is to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
And your language is beautiful. And I think your language will get more powerful over time on this journey. The more you look within and just really try to look at that principle of like, well, where did my heart come from? Like, how did that thing get built? Like, the doctor did surgery on my arm, but he didn't build my heart when I was being developed in my mom's womb. How did that happen? What is that? And that journey, that meditation, that when you look in the mirror and you're like, why do I have brown eyes and not blue eyes? And I've got, you know, I white skin. I could have had black skin. And I've got, how? To me, that was one of the most interesting journeys for me to understand for myself, instead of having people shove things down my throat and tell me things and fear things into me, for me to really question life, intelligence, and then simplify it for me. Like, I just simplified it on how beautiful life is when you choose to walk this path. And I suggest you just make that part of your journey now, because you are a great gift. And, you know, you went through a hell of an experience and made it through it, not by chance. You were close to death. And you were picked to stay here for a reason. And now I know why. And you're going to discover that more and more every day. Just stay clear. Stay away from toxic relationships. Don't be putting toxic things in your body, and stay clear. Keep that atlas clear. Keep that nervous system and brain working. And you're going to have a magical life, girl.
Part of my journey in staying clear, I was also vegan for 6 years, and I was raw vegan for 1 month. Now, when it comes to nutrition and food, one of my biggest beliefs is that I believe a raw vegan diet is the purest, clearest form the human body can live at. It's not cooking any food, it's not ingesting any byproducts of animals, no saturated fats, no fake food, plastic food, anything like that. It's just clear, straight food for exactly what it is. And it doesn't bring the anxiety of the mind to what is in this? Who made this? What temperature is this at? what's going on in the kitchen. You know, it's a salad. All it is, it's just lettuce and vegetables and a dressing. And I feel like things like that is so important. You know, I'm not saying go out there and be vegan. I'm not vegan anymore. I eat meat. I love chicken and steak and medium rare. Let's go. But you
It's what
know,
you needed at the moment.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, especially younger generations, if we can really make an important choice to choose the healthier thing for us, you know, it helps keep that atlas clear. It helps keep us on the path. It helps, you know, stay away from toxic stuff, because I feel like we are what we eat, whether it's knowledge, whether it's food, whether it's information, whether it's energy. You know, if I'm just ingesting all this toxic food, eating boxes of Cheez-Its every day and complaining in the self-pity pool and being like, oh, why does my boyfriend treat me this way, and or girlfriend or whatever it is, whoever you are out there, you know, why is this happening? You versus the person that, you know, may not be vegan but is eating healthy foods. They wake up and make breakfast every morning and they don't really have to ask themselves why all the time. And it's like, well, it's just a choice. It's you are what you eat. If you put toxic things inside, you'll attract toxic things on the outside. If you put good things in, you'll attract good things outside. It's the law of attraction that I'm a firm believer in.
Yep. Nothing by chance, girl. There's a great author that keeps coming to my mind that I think you may enjoy. His name's Og Mandino. Ogmandino. It's a great book he wrote called Choices. But he's written a whole bunch of books. They're little tiny books. They could fit in your back pocket. What I used to do is I'd go to the bookstore and I'd see his books lined up, and whichever one spoke to me, I just pulled it off, bought it, read it, and I just read all his books. So that might be something you enjoy on this journey. You know, and as we close this out, I think it was very profound for Dr. Zach to see the gift in you that he knew you needed to share with people. So we need to thank him for that, because he's a special guy for seeing that, because he sees thousands of patients, and he chose you to come on this podcast. And we've got people from all over the world that want to get on this, and I'm pretty selective, but you know, you and I had a conversation on the phone and it felt right. And now I know your message is pivotal in people's lives. And just keep talking, girl. Keep sharing. You know, don't allow yourself to get distracted. Like now we're hearing the police cars in the background. That's life. You're going to be in a harmonious moment, and something's going to come in and try to steal your thunder. You don't go with the flow and just keep moving forward, girl. So listen, I love and appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing from your heart, because you truly did. I'm sure your parents are super proud of you. But at the end of the day, girl, you just be super proud of yourself for the rest of your life, and you keep moving forward. So thank you for sharing from the heart.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me on this podcast. And I'm so grateful to be here and to have this conversation with you today. It means a lot.
Amen, girl. Keep healing. You're awesome.
Thank you.